And we are live. Welcome back, Crypto Warriors, to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 451. Today is Wednesday, August 14th, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto. And if you saw the tweet earlier, as I said, we were going on a little bit late, been running around, but a lot of good news stories going on today. Top story of the day, Samsung discreetly adds Bitcoin support to blockchain key store. Maryland state government participating in Operation Crypto Suite. New England firm settles with SEC over allegedly unregistered $6.3 million ICO. Dallas Mavericks become second NBA team to accept Bitcoin. And last but not least, nonprofit company proposes decentralized crypto keys themselves. So before we get started, of course, let's look at this some of the crypto prices of the day. See, Bitcoin, of course, is down 6.08%. That's $660 it looked like it dropped yesterday. So again, we just talked about this last few days, this week and last week, where we talked about these $1,000 gains and drops that will begin to happen even more frequently after the $12,000, $5,000, $13,000 mark. But again, you're already seeing a microcosm of it now. The last 2 days, we saw it go from 12,800 to 11,500 to now 10,800 was yesterday to today at $10,191. So again, that's only 6% though. $666 is 6% from yesterday today. So that's what I mean. Those percentage swings are going to decrease, and the dollar gains are going to get bigger. The dollar increase and decreases will get even larger once it passes that $13,000 mark. So pay attention to that. Ethereum's down 8%, 8.24% at $189. Litecoin's down 7.92% at $77. Ripple went down even more. I guess they're getting beat right now. They're down 8.7 cents at 26 cents. Again, we had some people yesterday said once it hits 22 to 23 cents, they will put their buy orders in. It is getting very close to that. For those who are thinking about buying Ripple, this might be one of the times you don't want to try to squeeze it too low, but who knows? They have competition now. And Bcash is down 8% at $315. So a lot of red today. What's going on? NYC123. What's going on? Joe, Sergeant Crypto and Culture, Valdez, Panji Smoke, Chicago. There we go. Crypto Wimp, what's going on? Malik Howard, hello. Okay, top story of the day. Samsung. Who remember that halfback Dave Chappelle? You know what I'm talking about, Samsung. Samsung discreetly adds Bitcoin support to blockchain key store. That is right. South Korean tech conglomerate Samsung has quietly added Bitcoin support to its decentralized app store blockchain key store. According to updated information on the Samsung developers website, the key store now supports Bitcoin as well as Clayton, the cryptocurrency released by Korean internet giant Keiko. Looks like right now this will only be offered on select devices and jurisdictions. It's being supported by 6 of its devices, the Galaxy, the different types of Galaxies. I don't know about Galaxies, people. You can read it here. S10e, S10, S10 Plus, S10 5G, Note 10, and Note 10 Plus. Across the 6 jurisdictions of Canada, Germany, South Korea, Spain, Switzerland, the United States, and the United Kingdom. All the usual suspects. It looks like the key store was first released in July this year as part of Samsung's blockchain and decentralized software developmental kit, which provided account management as well as backup payment and digital signature facilitation. Initially, they only supported Ethereum blockchain, but as I just said, now they are supporting Bitcoin's blockchain. I think this is huge news, people. I mean, give Samsung a hand clap, even though they didn't announce it, which something like this, it doesn't need a big announcement because, again, this is kind of for their developer side of things. It's a Samsung developers website. How many developers are there on the planet in general, right? Not enough to warrant a press release maybe, so they didn't release it. But again, big step by Samsung. We're talking about more institutions, bigger organizations starting to adopt Bitcoin, or at least some of the practices of decentralization and some of the things cryptocurrency has to offer. And of course, Samsung being a South Korean conglomerate, where South Koreans, of course, love Bitcoin, they love blockchain technology, they love crypto. It's a space for innovation. They're pushing it forward. It makes sense that Samsung would bring this along. Again, This is for their developer toolkit, so it kind of makes more sense that they launched it. Again, in South Korea, you got a lot of developers there working on Bitcoin, working on blockchain stuff, and working in cryptocurrency. So this is a move that makes sense, but even bigger is also one of those things where if something at their store takes off, if the developer is using it, whoever using it, people find value in this, and of course it causes their phones to sell more and more people to want to buy Samsung, naturally competitors will get it as well. So I would not be surprised to see this work out well for Samsung. And then you see the likes of Apple. You see the likes of, I don't know. All I know is Samsung and Apple these days. But whatever other wireless phones are out there that can provide the support, you'll see them provide the same type of support. So I think this is, again, a base hit. It's another huge win for Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency space. And shout out for Samsung for taking a step in what could be considered, a delicate situation. They decided to go ahead and move forward, adding Bitcoin support anyway. And again, I don't see any negative to this. Why would a company not do it? All it's going to do is cause for more media attention and more people to actually use your product who are in support of Bitcoin. So shout out to Samsung. Hopefully more, as I said, wireless companies follow the trend as well. What's going on, Tony Nolly? Sergeant Crypto said better late than never, I guess. Bitcoin should have been first. Again, Bitcoin should have been first on a lot of things, but we know the politics behind it at this point. So again, I know it's a delicate matter for big companies for whatever reason. They're getting that tap on the shoulder from the government. So I know it's a delicate situation. So I want to applaud them for moving forward with it anyway. And again, I understand why they didn't really make a big fuss about it. And, the headlines, they don't want to stir the hornet's nest, as they say. But also for those who are paying attention, like people in the industry, they know this is here. So good job to Samsung. All right. Maryland state government is participating in Operation Crypto Sweep. If you're anything like me and you saw the words Crypto Sweep, you were probably thinking, hey, what am I giving my tax money to now, right? We've actually talked about Operation Crypto Sweep before in the past, but it looks like the Attorney General of Maryland announced that the state is participating in Operation Crypto Sweep. Attorney General Brian E. Frosch announced that state regulators would be participating in the initiative in a press release today, August 14th. Operation Crypto Sweep is a joint initiative of state and provincial security regulators in the United States and Canada, wherein they launch probes into potentially fraudulent or non-compliant crypto investment programs. The initiative targeting suspicious crypto investment products is reportedly the largest such coordinated investigation by state and provincial, I don't even know what to say the word, some Canadian stuff, the province people, officials in Canada. Again, this is something that you and I did not ask for, yet we are paying for it. And again, it's another thing in a long list of things that makes no sense to me. Operation Crypto Sweep to find potentially fraudulent or non-compliant crypto investment programs sounds like I am paying tax money to gang members to go extort other people, because that is literally what's going to go on here. This is an extortion scheme of schemes. I don't want to hear about fraudulent or non-compliant programs when 10 years ago, the housing crisis, all that stuff that happened in the United States, which was caused not only by Wall Street bankers, was also caused by these crediting agencies who were giving bad loans, bad derivative packages, A++s, and all these great ratings. Where was Operation Whatever Sweep then to stop some of these bankers and regulators from giving out false credit ratings or false grades and ratings to things that did not deserve it? I didn't see any operation get launched then. I didn't see any operation get launched afterward once we found out they were doing it. Once we found out they were bundling bad derivative packages, saying this thing was an A++, when in reality that loan probably was an F or a D, knowing full well it would not be paid back. I didn't see any operation going to that. I didn't see any non-compliance, potentially fraudulent probes happening in those areas. I still never even heard of anything like that, or anybody getting arrested. So again, this is a farce. This is extortion. And the worst part about this extortion is that we are actually paying them to come extort people like us. So again, something crazy to see. And this is things not even being held under wraps. It's something, as you see here, the Attorney General, he's proud to be a part of this fraudulent operation. And hopefully they can find and extort these programs that they're looking for. I mean, from what it sounds like yesterday, they already got one and Veritasium, Reggie. Middleton there. It looks like they're trying to get Ripple, even though some may disagree. And we'll actually be covering one that they've already worked on today as well. But in this press release, Frost revealed that the Maryland Securities Division is participating in this operation. The division has begun enforcement actions against a Bitcoin trading platform, luring potential investors with purported 150% returns to passive investments. Again, not saying this is right, but I don't see any investments into banks who lure potential customers into believing that their money is actually being kept in the bank when it's not. So again, it's all about the narrative and how you read into this. But right or wrong, I don't think taxpayer money at this point should be going toward investigating anything in the crypto industry because it's so small still. I mean, I get it. They've noticed, governments around the world have noticed that this is real money now and people believe in it. But even after all of that, it is still a very small market. So for them to be having Operation Crypto Sweeps and, two different countries, the United States and Canada working together on this, this just shows me again how scared they really are, because you're attacking a market now that's not that big. You remember, they take it serious now because people can see how quick you can make money, but it's still a very small market cap when it comes to all the cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin. We're talking about billions of dollars. It's not that big. I mean, companies have billions of dollars. Samsung is probably worth more than the crypto market, right? So it's one of those things that's not even big, yet it takes two countries to do a joint effort sweep. So to me, that is a positive sign for Bitcoin and crypto. That means we will continue to pump. And of course, in some of their notes that Frost made, he basically said that, of course, crypto investments are risky. Investors need to be cautious, and we're doing this for you. That is the tall tale sign, people. Whenever a government regulator says, hey, we are doing this for your protection, no, they are not doing this for your protection. But they still stand, as always. It's almost like the championship. What did the Bronx Bombers say? And I still stand, and still I stand. That is the corruption of the government. Still they stand. But speaking of some of these sweeps, it looks like a New England firm has settled with the SEC over allegedly unregistered $6.3 million ICO. Again, we're going to have the good news stories coming as well, but they're going after old ICOs. This is this is extortion, people. I mean, for one, the United States decided to make the ICOs basically illegal in the middle of ICO season 2017. When those numbers started coming in that, hey, you heard there are people on the internet making more or raking in more than $100 million in basically fundraising efforts without any interference with any government. Because again, this is perfectly legal. All people do is go online, they put up a little white paper or a post or whatever and say, either we have a product or project coming, or we're working on one, but we need money to help fund it. And people around the world gave them money. When the U.S. caught wind of this June and July of 2017, they said this can't be illegal. We're not getting our piece. This cannot be illegal. If it is legal, we're going to make it illegal until we get our cut. So the United States decided to do that. And again, one of the basic reasons why this makes no sense is because ICOs are global. So for the U.S. to come in and say, the SEC to say this was an unregistered ICO, what's stopping England from doing it? What's stopping Spain from doing it? What's stopping Iran from doing it? What's stopping Russia from doing it? Literally every government could just take a piece of a business because you don't have an army and we do. And we're telling you, you're not allowed to do a fundraising effort across the globe. So again, this New England firm, though, they decided they didn't want to fight the SEC and they were going to settle. And again, they settled for this unregistered $6.3 million ICO. According to an SEC announcement published on August 12th, Simply Vital Health announced plans to conduct an ICO in order to secure funds for a healthcare-related blockchain ecosystem dubbed Health Nexus in 2017. Again, 2 years later, people. The company offered a native token for Health Nexus called Healthcash. The company purportedly announced a pre-sale of those tokens under simple agreements for future tokens that are set to be delivered to investors once they are created. However, Simply Vital did not file a registration statement with the commission or qualify for an exemption from registration before offering and selling HLTH to the public through their with their simple agreements future tokens. So since they did not do this, this is why the SEC is coming after them. They say after concluding its pre-sale in April 2018, Simply Vital ultimately decided not to offer and sell those tokens during its scheduled ICO. In 2019, Simply Vital voluntarily returned to investors substantially all the funds raised during this pre-sale. So this is even crazier. And again, they launched in 2018. So they probably were toward the end of the ICO cycle, but they're like, hey, let's get this thing out there. But of course, we told everybody in the 2017, 2018 will be a year of regulations, which we saw. But this is crazy. Simply Vital, to me, it sounds like a business in 2018 after this whole ICO craze happened. And even going, again, they did this in 2019 when they gave the money back. But they probably saw the landscape. They saw how crazy our government is being about this. And they're like, you know what? We're just going to give the money back. We're not going to continue with our project. This is what we mean by crushing innovation. When you have innovators now saying we're not even going to work on this project anymore because we're so scared of what our government might do. We're going to give the money back. And then the government still comes after you and says, no, we don't care if you gave them money. Oh, they say, listen, these are gang rules, people. Like if you were to steal money from a mobster or something and then find out it belonged to a mobster and give it back to them, you think they're just going to be like, all right, well, thanks for bringing the money back to us in the bar. You gonna have a good life now. No, they're about to break some legs, right? And that is how our government is doing. They saw a company try to do something good in the healthcare industry. They got scared of the government. They decided to give everyone their money back, so no one took a loss for the most part. And then our government came in and said, nah, we still breaking some legs. This is crazy. But yeah, it's unfortunate to see. But again, this is number 2 in 2 days. Operation Crypto Sweep sounds like it's in full effect. So we'll see who they get tomorrow, I guess. More to come, right? More to come. All right. Now on some good news stories, even though I'm still going to talk some mess about Dallas Mavericks, who become the second NBA team to accept Bitcoin. Something we told you that was going to happen is actually happening. I'm going to read this paragraph in a moment. But the Dallas Mavericks have become the second NBA team to accept Bitcoin as a means of payment for match tickets and merchandise. The first team, of course, was Sacramento Kings. We covered them multiple times in the past. A tweet from the crypto payment processor BitPay confirmed the news on August 13. Again, we talked about BitPay yesterday. You or anyone having over $3,000 in exchanges is considered a high value account now, which of course they need your ID, your social security number, etc., etc. But one of the things we've said about BitPay, I said yesterday and we said in the past, is that BitPay, which used to be for mom and pops, made a pivot about 1.5 years, 2 years ago to only deal with businesses and larger organizations, enterprise institutions, which is why they started putting in those rules for smaller mom and pops. They want to draw you away. This goes to show that's what BitPay is about. They're partnering with Dallas Mavericks. They're doing stuff with them. Again, this isn't your mom and pop payment processor anymore. But the part that is crazy to me is this statement on Mark Cuban, if I can find it again. Let's see. I can't find it. Cryptocurrency adoption has been on the horizon for the Mavs since early last year when team owner and billionaire tech investor Mark Cuban hinted that the fans would soon be able to buy tickets, to use Bitcoin to buy tickets to team games. I cannot find it, but there's a statement in this article that talks about Mark Cuban basically. I think they might have actually edited it already, which is pretty funny. But they call Mark Cuban basically a crypto enthusiast. And, it's actually right here in front of me, the headline, Mavs billionaire owner is a crypto enthusiast. This is the same Mark Cuban who maybe a year and a half ago was trashing Bitcoin, was trashing cryptocurrency, was trashing the entire space. He was one of those people on Shark Tank as well, like Mr. Wonderful, who did not believe in the power of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And when I say trash, he had nothing but deflammatory remarks to say. And now, 1.5 years, 2 years later, he accepts it for his business. And now he's this great crypto enthusiast. This is where we talk about the headlines and the narratives and the marketing, where this is a small microcosm of it. But again, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, they're going to be doing the same thing in about 1.5 years. They're going to be saying, hey, we were some of the early innovators of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. We helped develop some of these systems. We've always been enthusiasts. We've been on the ground at and this is going to be like, no, you haven't. We've never seen you at any meetups, right? So I want people to be leery about these headlines when you see stuff like this. I don't think Mark Cuban's a crypto enthusiast. I think Mark Cuban is a good businessman who's a billionaire, who opened his eyes and finally said, why am I talking smack about technology when I am in technology myself? And all this thing does or can do is make me more money. Nothing less. It could only make me more money. So I never understood why he took his shots at to begin with, but is glad to see he's on the side of Bitcoin these days. So I won't say shout out to Mark Cuban, but shout out to the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks, for accepting Bitcoin. That's good on their part. All right. And let's see. Wire Spark said, I guess this is the Mark Cuban stack sets. Oh, way to stack sets. Exactly. Shinobi once said, Mr. Wonderful has old footage of him defending Bitcoin. Listen, the thing with Mark Cuban, Bill Gates, Mr. Wonderful, Peter Schiff, I would even assume, the guy who worked for Bill Gates, or excuse me, not the guy, Warren Buffett and the guy who works for Warren Buffett, they all have Bitcoin. They all like it. When Bitcoin first came out, Bill Gates was one of the first people to come out and say this is going to change the world and the internet as we know. He was literally one of the first people. Microsoft used to use or have applications where you can use Bitcoin and some of the technology on. So him, Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban, every other billionaire out there, like, this isn't a conspiracy theory. We are almost like, without being in the room knowing, we have a strong intuition that they received a tap on the shoulder from the government saying, hey, if you want to protect your billions of dollars that you have with the American government, you will not endorse Bitcoin. So I'm pretty sure that's what's been going on, because the Bill Gates one was the biggest flip-flop I ever seen. I mean, this guy was touting Bitcoin, and then one day just came out the blue and was just like, this is all bad news. So for him to do that, I knew it was like, all right, what's going on behind the scenes? It's like you got this pretty girlfriend, you take her out everywhere, you propose to her, and then one day you just come out the blue and like, no, I don't like her no more. It's like, wait, what? You just proposed to her yesterday, today you don't like her. Like, something happened in the last 24 hours. So, Sergeant Crypto said, just like China's saying they've been developing blockchain for the last 5 years. That's right. All right, great news story to end it though. Non-profit company proposes to decentralize crypto keys themselves. It looks like a new proposal wants to take decentralization a step further by decentralizing the private keys themselves. This is going to be a trustless bot with your crypto private keys. Tide, a non-profit privacy advocate, claims to have developed a decentralized technology which gives rise to a trustless bot or a delegated automated trustee, a DAT, on the blockchain. According to this announcement back on August 5th, DAT can act as a custodian of a crypto key, manage access to personal data, or enable automatic trading bots to access funds without having access to a full key. That's a big one if it works. To have a trading bot access your funds with that's a big one, and super dangerous, by the way. Essentially, the key protecting the data or crypto assets is divided into several pieces and split between a group of nodes. No single node has access to or knowledge of the whole key or the authority to act on its own. This makes malicious access to your key virtually impossible, so they say. However, the nodes can act in a swarm to perform functions utilizing the key. The user can specify the parameters upon which this authority can be given. Again, there's some little bit more information on here. Their co-founder, Michael Lowy, gave Cointelegraph some examples of the form these criteria can take. He said, in the context of the Tide ecosystem, those instructions may be a set of rules determining which data fields I'm prepared to trade with certain types of organizations. For example, I don't want to contact any details traded with political organizations. That same concept can also be applied to advanced crypto trading. For example, social trading, where my instructions may be to follow or mirror the trades of a peer expert trader. Again, they're talking about privacy. This is one of those things, and you can read all this. This is on Cointelegraph. Thanks, Jack Martin, for this article. This is one of those things where we say looks good for sure. Hope it works out. But this is a grand plan, people. I mean, just the technology behind it to secure everything could change the game when it comes to security. You talk about them making a decentralized crypto key wallet, essentially. Well, the technology that they claim that they'll be able to do this with, that technology is actually worth more than this service they could provide. I mean, speaking of Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, this is his thing. He's always talking about licensing something. This is one of those things, you don't do your DAT program, whatever thing you have going. If you have the technology to do this, to have bots trading for you, to follow traders, to keep your keys secure, to keep your private keys decentralized. I mean, that's just 4 big things right there. What else did they say? Key recovery, manage personal data. So let's say 6 different things. If you have the tech to do that, they just need to license this and actually push this thing out rather than do it themselves, really, unless they are very sure they can do it themselves at a very high level, because this has not been done yet. And again, the technology has not really been there. I won't say it hasn't been there, but the technology hasn't been pieced together and worked for this to work as a service in of itself. So if they can do all this, I mean, they definitely have my attention. I know they won't be doing the ICO, right? Operation Crypto Suite. But as this one commenter said, here's a commenter on this article. Mitsui said, this could be another potential threat. Trust a code with my wallet key is a big stretch. First, people got to make the existing platform safer. Again, I'm with it. From a technical standpoint, people, this is a big leap. I mean, this is one of those leaps where I can see it coming in 2 or 3 years. Not right now, because no one's even talked about doing all this, right? But if they can do it, kudos to them. I hope so. But again, to me, I'm with this commenter. This is a potential threat. You talk about, what's the word? I can't even think the word right now, but basically weak points or points that you can access that are threats that could be hacked. For a system like this, there has to be like a ton of them. I mean, you're using different ports. You're doing different things from a technical standpoint. This is very, very in depth. So again, I hope it works out. Can't wait to see it. But I would love your opinion on it for this free crypto coin today in the comment section after the video. Let me know, would you use a decentralized crypto key, I guess, to hold and store the rest of your keys and for trading? Would you trust a system like this? Let us know, a couple sentences, put in the comments after the video, and I'll make sure we send out that free crypto coin. Other than that, as always, Crypto Bully, as he said, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Thanks for watching as always, and we will see you all tomorrow. Cheers.